Hello, this is Ellicia Romo from NEXA Mortgage. I am so excited to be here today with Austin Clarence. If you don't know me, I'm an international best-selling author. I am a speaker, a coach, a recruiter, and a team lead at NEXA. And I am coming up on celebrating my 3-year anniversary with NEXA Mortgage. Woo woo! Super excited about that. And we have with us today Austin Clarence. Austin, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate the platform.
Awesome. Well, I am going to say I have had the pleasure of working with Austin. I'm going to guess, but he could probably tell you exact. I'm going to say for about the last 6 months or so now. And I've gotten to know Austin. He's a great guy. He's a great loan originator. He makes some really good video content for social media, and he's just been really kicking butt lately. So I wanted to have him on here so we could ask him a few questions about what's happening in his business and in his life. Austin, take a minute, tell us a little bit about you.
Thanks so much, Ellicia. I appreciate you. My name is Austin Clarence. I'm a loan officer here in Phoenix. Been with NEXA Mortgage underneath you, Ellicia, for the past, I guess it's been about 7-8 months or so. So what I do is try to educate my clients. I network it with other referral partners, realtors, CPAs, have the pleasure of kind of networking and forming relationships. Ultimate goal is to kind of help the client, educate them on the process, kind of use my knowledge so they have that much more knowledge kind of going into the transaction and help them kind of navigate through the process.
Awesome. Tell us something about you that we would never know if you didn't tell us right now.
2 truths and a lie? No, I'm just kidding. A couple of facts. I got a golden doodle named Luna. She's probably barking on the other side of my house. I have her on the other half so she can't interrupt our video. But I live here in Central Phoenix. Actually, fun fact, was born in Argentina, South America. I don't think you even knew that, Ellicia. So dual citizenship. That's my one fun fact here.
Nice. That's awesome. So how old were you when you moved to the United States?
I was like 2.5, so I can't quite recall the journey to the States when my parents moved back, but wish I had some more memories, but too young.
That's awesome. All right, Austin, tell me and remind me, when did you first start at NEXA and what made you decide to come to NEXA in the first place? Besides like the awesome plane ride I took you on.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was definitely a nice little perk before I signed the contract. I joined, I guess it was late November, so it's been about 7 months or so. I came from retail. I was on the retail lending side, working for large mortgage lenders, mid-size, for the past about 7 years or so. So I made the transition to the wholesale side, specifically NEXA, where I knew nothing about wholesale. It was a big step for me. One of the best decisions of my life because I have way more options for my clients. It's really helped my business, helps my relationships. It's allowed me to offer so many other solutions to my clients. So I'm super happy I made that step over to the wholesale side.
Nice. Okay, I'm going to throw a little impromptu question at you here. So I know a lot of loan originators, when they're moving from retail direct lending to the wholesale side, like you said, it was a really big decision for you to make. And I know there's a lot of loan originators that are nervous about making that transition and worried about the support that they're going to receive when they make that switch. Can you just speak a little bit to how the transition was for you and the support you received in the learning curve to come to the broker side of things?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's one of the bigger objections that a retail LO may have is that wholesale might be a little bit less structured, a little bit less organized, but the truth is it's so much easier. You actually have more resources, especially at NEXA, because we have LOS. I can pop into Zoom. I think I've been in the LOS Zoom at least 3 times today for different files. So I can get opinions from different experienced LOs. I can ask them questions, guidelines. If I want to look over a tax return or commission, they can give me their feedback on how they can handle the solution. So other than yourself, you've been a great resource for me. There's a ton of other NEXA LOs. I think 2,200 LOs NEXA has. We get a Facebook page. If I have a question, if I have a win or a concern about a lender, I'll write that down on the Facebook page and share that knowledge and piece of info experience with other LOs. I think the numbers that we have at this company is a massive resource in itself, along with LOS, along with all the calls we have to kind of make sure everyone's on the same page here at NEXA.
Yeah, I'm going to say when you talk about the amount of loan officers and that Facebook page, one thing I have found is there can be some companies where there's a lot of loan originators. However, they're not always supportive of each other, and they see each other as direct competition, and there's like cutthroat among loan originators at the same company. That is one of my favorite things at NEXA. Is truly we're all like, I see us as like one big family. And everybody is seeming to always be willing to help each other. And I've never seen anybody have that mindset of, I'm not going to share my knowledge with you because you might steal my info, right? Like, we have lots of sharing.
Exactly. It's a family. We've never had any of that. And it's a benefit having those numbers, because that many different LOs who've had different experiences, different issues, different wins from different lenders, different deals they've done, and they can share that with everybody else in the company.
Yeah, awesome. So speaking of benefits at NEXA, what would you say has been your most favorite thing about NEXA since you've been here?
Ooh, it's a tough one. I think the bigger thing that I really for is just the fact that, one, control your commission with every single deal, right? So you can control the commission, you have better rates and pricing to offer more solutions for clients, win more deals. If I had to choose one thing, the biggest benefit that's helped me is having over 200 different lenders that NEXA has actually already signed up with. So we already have established relationship. We can pop in their Zoom. A bunch of these lenders are actually in the Zoom room. So having that line of communication, I don't have to call, play phone tag. I can pop in their Zoom, share screen, pull up the tax return, get the information, get the human on the line right then and there. Having that many different resources through lenders, account execs, and of course, having the programs and products that can help customize very specific solutions with different kinds of loans.
Awesome. Okay, my next question is kind of going to be a little bit of a big, broad question, right? What is something new? Because you've been a loan originator for a while. Like, you're not new to being in the industry coming to NEXA. You've spent time in other companies. However, since you got to NEXA, what is something new that you learned? And it could be something as much as, I believed this about brokers and I learned this, or it could be, I didn't know this product existed, or whatever, anything, open-ended. What is something new you learned?
The biggest thing I've learned is that you actually have more control over the entire process once you enter the wholesale side, as opposed to retail. Like, for example, if you are a retail loan officer, you have a tougher file with some hair on it, maybe a tougher income deal, you'll send an email to a scenario desk. So everybody in retail will say, okay, don't ever go wholesale. You're not going to have that resource. It's you and yourself. But truth is, I can go send that same email to 3 or 4 different lenders, find 1 or 2 lenders who's going to accept that income, and then boom, I can send them the loan file. So you have complete control. I personally choose when disclosures go out, who my processor is. I interviewed a bunch of top highly rated processors. So I have control over closing. I can get rushes. You have control over every step of the process, right? You choose the lender, you choose the account exec in most examples. Therefore, you have the power. And that's one thing I thought I'd actually be taking a step back in, is having the control, not having the structured processing and structured closing. I mean, the truth is, it's faster turn times and more control over all the operational components, which is a huge part of everyone's business, as you know, as a LO.
Yeah, I'm going to say I heard the same things when I was working on the retail side. I always heard brokers have no control, and I found the same thing. It's more control. So that's awesome. I'm so glad that you brought that up. So, Austin, tell us, what has been your best month ever? Well, first of all, how many years have you been in the industry? And what has been your best month ever in terms of closing loans?
I've been at LO a little bit over 7 years now, right? So I think before I joined NEXA, it was probably during the COVID, the 2-point-something interest rate days. I think I did about 5 loans, maybe. I think it was just under 3 million, about 2.5 million, if I recall correctly. Which truth is, I'm looking actually at my my stats written down on my wall here on my loans and loan numbers. I think this month is going to be my best month I've ever had in my 7 years as an LO on the wholesale side. So I think it'll be about seven apps as of this Friday coming up in a couple of days with just under 3 million. I think 2.8, 2.9 million total in volume.
How exciting! Congratulations! And there you have it. That is why at the beginning of this Zoom, I said Austin is crushing it. So, Austin, what would you say has made the difference for you in this month? Like, what would you attribute your success to this month as opposed to, in the past when you weren't doing the numbers that you're doing?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's building that wealth of knowledge by learning about the actual product that's out there, about which lenders are good at what. Everyone's got their wheelhouse. Not every lender is going to do great at each kind of loan. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. Certain lenders do great at conventional FHA, but if they're trying to learn the non-QM, like a bank statement loan, DSCR, they might not do a great job of that. They might not have a great system. So I think learning which lenders do well at what, learning the wheelhouse of each lender, who's got the sweet spot with pricing here, who's got the best underwriting and turn times for this area. Once you combine all that, it just becomes so much easier to know right off the bat, if I see that credit score with that DTI, with that income, perfect. We're going to have to take this one DSCR. The rent comes in here. I'm going to have a good understanding of how to price this loan out, how to present this and pitch that to the client. So I think having that knowledge, having the program knowledge, learning by our Facebook page, learning with our company calls, all the presentations we have, it just becomes so much easier by accruing that knowledge and information over time.
Awesome. That's so exciting. Okay, so I have heard you say that coming over to NEXA was the best business decision you ever made. Can you give us really quickly, like bullet point fashion, 3 reasons why you think NEXA was the best business decision you've made?
I think number one, just offering such a diverse amount of solutions for clients with different lenders, program, product. I used to say no. We used to have to tell clients that these programs don't exist to come back in another 18 months when they have that 2 years of tax returns filed. Now I have a solution right off the bat. So I can't recall any instance I've had to say no or to come back in the 7 months I've been here. Eventually that time probably will come, but it hasn't happened yet. So I think having the different resources there and having overall the NEXA resources with LOs that are constantly on standby for, I think, close to like 11, 10 hours a day. There's someone in Zoom I can pop in. The resources you get with structuring loans, with onboarding. There's a very well-oiled machine. It's plug and play. You come in and they help you with everything right off the bat. So I think the resources, number one, the program, and then number 3, I mean, we do this to help clients, but we do it to get paid, right? We do this to have higher commission opportunities than retail. Every loan that we do, it's still bringing in the same amount of overall revenue, but 2/3 of it isn't going to your branch manager, the branch manager's boss, the middle management paying for that big expensive lease. It's going to yourself. The lender's taking a cut. NEXA is going to take a cut, but it all comes back to you with the resources. So I think comp that's why we're loan officers here today. And then the resources that NEXA has, and then the program and product that we have through NEXA too.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to your number 1 real quick. I want to challenge your mindset. Rather than thinking having to say no at one point might come in your future, let's erase that, and you will always get to say yes. Because for 7 months, you've never had to say no. You get to say yes more often, and you're going to get to keep saying yes.
I think you're right. I think
awesome.
Let's keep the good luck flowing.
What is something in the near future you are looking forward to?
The near future, I know we have the LOS NEXA Summit coming up in October. I think it's middle of October. I'm stoked for that. It's actually how I joined NEXA. I just randomly attended that event. And then I think a few weeks later, boom, I was enrolled with NEXA. So excited for that in-person event. That's always a blast. And I'll probably fly out to Pontiac, Michigan to see our friends at UWM again later this summer. I just went last month. So it was a fun opportunity to network it with other LOs, other Nexans, and see the account execs get to the headquarters back at UWM.
Awesome. I'm super excited about those 2 things as well. And the last thing I want to ask you is if you could give one piece of advice To any loan originator listening or watching this video, what would be the one piece of advice you would give?
I'd say as a retail though, we're programmed to think that there's so many preconceived notions, stereotypes with the wholesale channel, the downsides of leaving. That's pretty much what everyone's boss has told them their entire career being in retail, so they wouldn't take that step. So don't listen to your current employees that are on your team. Ask other broker LOs, ask other wholesale loan officers, reach out to a NEXA LO, get their feedback, ask for the pros and cons. There's always a downside to everything, but if you can mitigate some of those downsides, have a higher commission opportunity, say yes before no, I think it's an easy decision. So network it, ask questions, do your homework. Don't overthink it though. If you think it's the right decision, you're pretty confident in that decision, you should just make that leap, because I know a ton of people and friends that are LOs that have been thinking about it for a while and they haven't made that step, or it took them longer than they like. I think it took me a little bit longer than I'd like myself.
So you all heard it. Now is the time. Join NEXA, talk to us, ask questions. If you have any questions about NEXA, the broker world, anything along those lines, or you need a loan, feel free to reach out to Austin or myself. Austin, how can they reach you?
Austin.Clarence. Feel free to reach out. Instagram 650-906-2376. Shoot me a text if you have any questions. Happy to help. Happy to give you pros, cons. If you're thinking about joining NEXA or just have any general questions for myself. So thank you, Ellicia. I appreciate the time and appreciate the platform.
You're welcome. I'm so excited to see what the future holds, and I'm so happy to be a part of your journey at NEXA. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me on Zoom today.
Of course, thank you for helping me take the leap. Appreciate you. Thank you.